Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning and welcome to TimeToPlay.com's Empower Half Hour. Hey, I have a question. Isn't it time for you to embrace the time to play state of mind? And that's something that we're going to talk about in a little bit. Today's discussion is regarding honor. My name is Doreen Guma, and I am a board-certified healthcare executive and a certified professional coach and a certified professional life coach. And I've worked in healthcare for over 27 years and got tired of seeing the sick and sad and kind of came up with this time to play state of mind and time to play philosophy. And again, we'll discuss that a little bit later. And online with me is my co-host, Michael Waterman, and Michael is our makeup and beauty expert. I mean, he's got 37 years helping people, men and women, feel and look extraordinary. And Michael is the co-founder of the BExtraordinary makeup and fragrance line. And you really should try the fragrance if you haven't yet. It's amazing. It's on the cart, so you could go check that out. So good morning, Michael.
Good morning,
How are you doing
Doreen.
today?
Good morning. I'm good. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all tuned in. We're looking forward to talking to you.
And I did have an awful lot of coffee, so I'm like really wired this morning. So
I'm drinking it now.
Cool.
And of course, yours was hot and mine is iced.
I know, it's freaking freezing out. If anybody is in the East Coast, well, actually most of the country, I think it's like, I don't know, 18 degrees this morning. It snowed. We're on Long Island. My little feet are freezing. It's crazy, and hopefully spring is
here.
Like.
And I've got snow on the ground. Did you get snow last night?
We did too.
Yeah, we did too.
It did. Got like 3 inches. But you know what? Spring is like 50 days away. So it's hopeful.
It's still January. This is supposed to happen. It's good for the crops, and it's
true.
And it's pretty. I hate to tell you, it's pretty.
It is, and I haven't been complaining because you have to rationalize everything in life. It is New York. It is cold, and it's supposed to snow, and can't complain about being in New York in the winter. It's the way it is. It's the way it is. The way it is. Right?
You know, I-95 is just there. If people complain, go south. It's fine. But let's get on to honor, my dear, and let's talk about honor.
Okay, let me tell you how
I'm
this
excited.
kind of popped into my mind. Yesterday I was driving, and I happened to pass a cemetery, and there were 2 fire trucks that were taking down a gigantic flag. Now, my husband's been on our volunteer fire department since 1984, and my son is also, he's 20, he's a full-fledged volunteer firefighter. As a matter of fact, he put out he had the nozzle, they call it the knob, but he physically had the nozzle in the fire, house fire, and he helped save a person's house just last week. So they amaze me, and, that fight or flight, you don't walk into a burning building, but they love it. It's crazy, but long story short. So I passed this fire trucks, 2 ladder trucks with volunteer firefighters, so it's not costing the taxpayer money, taking a gigantic flag down from the front of the cemetery. So I know what that means, of course, is, and it was a neighboring department to us. It wasn't, our truck was there too, so because I was in my community. And it started to make me think of how we honor people after they pass away. And I actually had dinner with a friend yesterday too, and we were talking about it. And, it's something to think about. Like, what do we do in our day to honor ourselves, honor others? Do we honor them the way we honor people when they pass? What's your opinion,
I'm going to say
Let's
yes.
start this discussion.
I'm going to say yes. Have you not seen awards dinners, testimonials, people being given service honors, awards, the Olympics, the Academy Awards, the Grammys were just on? People are honored for their work. They are honored for their achievement and for the goals and what they've done. Yeah,
a day-to-day? Is it your people? Is it you? Is it people around you?
You need to do that. We all need to do that by saying thank you. That's the best honor you can give somebody. Even if you're in a grocery store and you had good service, or, for instance, I worked in Sephora, you can go onto a website and say, this particular person gave me great customer service. And can I tell you, I was the highest honored person in Sephora Soho. I had more compliments. I'm more that Michael helped me with my makeup and with whatever products I needed. And that in that way, yes, you can honor people, but even a simple thank you is an honor. It's saying, I acknowledge what you've done, I'm grateful to you, and thank you.
Well, my intention is to just bring a little bit of awareness to us, because this really did make me think. So honor is defined by Merriam-Webster as respect that is given to someone who is admired, and it's recognition. Now, like Michael was saying, but put into perspective, in your day-to-day, in my day-to-day, I'm rushing around like a crazy person maybe. I'm, getting up, I'm going to work, I'm going to the food shop. Like, do we respect and honor who we work with? Do we respect and honor our spouses, our children? Do we take advantage of other people? Do we take that time to say thank you? Do we take that time? And it's so funny because I'm very lucky. My husband does laundry. We share all the stuff. If it needs to be done, we do it because we work a lot of hours. And, there's not that much time. And everybody kind of pitches in. Not the kids. They just make it sloppy. But, do we say, wow, thank you so much for sorting the laundry. Thank you so much for putting that laundry in. I left the kitchen a mess the other night. I usually clean up before I go to bed, but I was just really tired. So I went upstairs, watched a little TV, and when I woke up in the morning, the kitchen was spotless. And my husband had gone to a fire department meeting. He's chairman of the fire department, and so he had gone, and when he came home, he cleaned it. And I did absolutely go out of my way to tell him, thank you so much for doing that. And like, Michael, you cooked delicious baked ziti the other day, you told me. So Steve said to you, wow, this was the best Thanksgiving. Oh, my God. This was the best. We served ziti at Thanksgiving. I don't know. This was the best ziti. And how did that make you feel?
It made me feel great because he cooks for me all the time, and I always say thank you. How many people out there have a professional chef in their own kitchen? I'm very fortunate. I'm very fortunate.
No, you really are. You really are.
I have a great partner. But I'm one of those people because I work in a service business, Doreen, because I am a servant to my clients. I take care of them. That when I'm in a store or if I'm in a restaurant, which is rare because I don't need to be, but I always say thank you. I always honor the people around me. Whenever we've done anything, have I not always said thank you? People, it's something that you have to train yourself. You have to become conscious, be aware of the people around you. Like I said a long time ago about walking on the subway and people just sort of walking like zombies. We have to be conscious. We have to physically and emotionally and mentally and just be awake and be aware of what's going on, what you're doing, so that you can honor people, you can say thank you, and not just take things for granted and be blasé.
And you're 1,000% right. And one of the things that I know, because I have worked in healthcare, like I said, for 27 years. I've worked in a hospital for 14 years. I worked in skilled nursing since 2001, on my own since 2005. But I've been in those trenches. And I was director of quality improvement. And
now that's going to be hard. Because you're getting all the complaints, right?
Exactly.
You're getting all the complaints about what's wrong.
Hardly ever heard, wow, that was great. Very rare. Sometimes you would get letters. We'd get compliment letters, or we would know somebody was really happy and we'll ask for them to make a testimonial. But you know that the biggest discussions that I ever had with our patients was, there's a dirty tissue on the floor, my mother had a blah, blah, blah. You know, like I never...
Oh, sure.
Yeah. You know, we would solicit, you know, suggestions. We would solicit compliments. We would solicit. But the people, and I would send satisfaction surveys out. And a lot of times you might get some, you know, a lot of the companies do that after a service call or something. You'll get, take a few minutes to take our survey. And I usually will. 99.9% of the time I'll stay on and I'll do that, because if that person gave me really good service, if they didn't, seriously, I usually don't even bother, because I don't know. I know that I've dealt with complaints for many, many years. But see, that's the problem.
You don't. And just as it's important to say thank you, it's just as important to say this wasn't what I needed, because you're giving honor to that company by giving them direction, by help. If you say,
That's true.
You know, if you just lay there and accept it, like a patient in the hospital that has a rotten nurse or doctor or whatever, administrator or anybody that's helping them, if they just accept it, then you get what you pay for, okay? But that's dishonor to both the client and the company and the hospital or the company itself, because you're not doing anybody service, then the bad stays unchecked.
I appreciate that. And I want to throw out to this next part of that, which is kind of the flip side. When you are a staff person for whatever company, whether it's your own company or you work for a massive company like a Verizon or something, okay, you are a representative of that organization. So I have a lot of things that I believe, because I used to do a lot of employee training and customer satisfaction training and that type of stuff too. Nobody owes you anything to come to your business. And if you're crabby or nasty to the people that patronize your business, they're not going to come. And this is something that, you know, I don't know, I don't want to sound rude or get people upset or riled up, but, like, you know people that feel like you owe them for them being there so you could shop there, or, like, if you've gone to a cashier sometimes, like, it's a bother that you're there. You owe them for doing your checkout, or you owe them for taking care of you or doing your service. And you know that there's people like that. I'm sure even in the hairdressing business, in the salon business, you've seen people like maybe a shampoo girl or something like, or a waitress.
Well, of course, you have people very famous, I won't go to who, but very famous hairdressers who basically think that they, forgive me for saying it, poop diamonds, and that you should be on your hands and knees that this hairdresser would even deign to do your hair. That's absurd. They should get on their hands and knees and thank the client for giving them, A, a good reputation, and B, work.
The opportunity. No joke.
Exactly.
And I used to say that to all of the people when I did my in-services and customer satisfaction in-services. We owe that patron for coming here. They don't have to. And in our local community, for an example, and again, I work in nursing homes too, in our local community as a consultant, let me throw that out. Okay, in our local community, we have 2,700 nursing home beds in a 14-mile radius. Who are you going to go to? Yeah, right? And it's mind-boggling.
That's a lot of retired
people.
Wow.
Don't you think? Who are you going to bring your mom to? A place that embraces you, takes care of you, cares about you, or a place that's nasty and that you owe them for taking care of your mom? Where are you going to go? And this is the same, and, this is an example, but you can do this in everything. There's, 3 food stores within 4 miles of my house. We have a Passmark, we have a Stop and Shop, and we have a Waldbaum's. Go to the store that makes me feel like I'm bothering the people. I'm not going to go to the store that makes me feel like uncomfortable to go there. And this is honoring as a worker or as a customer and taking that time, because everybody's putting an effort. Like, it's you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Well, my clients know that I know every one of them by name. I know what products they've used, and I know from day to day what's going on. I'll keep in touch with them, A, on Facebook, B, I call because I clientele. But it's important. Those people are part of my life. They're part of my livelihood. And I agree with you. If you don't keep that positive communication going and you don't reinforce that positive and be real about it, don't just, how many times, too, do you have the other way, where somebody has bent over backwards to make sure you acknowledge that they're taking care of you, in such a fake friendly way. And that I saw in my former company, where people were, the smile was taped to their face. You know what I mean?
They take advantage again, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm taking care of you. I love you. Blah, 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 blah. And you know that they're full of poo-poo, okay? Because they don't care about you at all, and that whole facade turns people off too. So we need to be genuine when we are honoring people. We need to be genuine when we are talking. And also, like you say, if you've got good customer service and you've got people that care, you're going to go back there.
No doubt. So let's just recap a little bit. We're going to work a little bit to honor our family and our loved ones and have them hopefully to honor you, because I know that's a lot of things that you see with the kids. They disrespect the parents. They do the eye roll thing. Let's teach each other how to honor people and tell people that it makes us feel bad when somebody's behaving to them in an inappropriate manner, because you know what? Sometimes we hold that in when a person makes us feel bad. A person makes us feel
there's that
not
old
confident.
Eagle song, Teach Your Children Well. And it's about honor and love, and then it also teach your parents well. It's the same thing, and I agree with you. It starts in the home. It starts with mom and dad and the kids. How many times have you gone to the store, Doreen, and the mother is shopping, and the children are tearing up the store, and she says, stop that, and she's paying no attention at all, right?
Right,
and
it's disrespect.
The salespeople and whatever are loath to go over and say, come here, you little monster, or whatever, or here, dear, but it's all about being responsible, like you say, and starting at the home.
It's disrespect, and I agree with you. I know, like, my daughter is 18, and there's those teenage years that everybody complains about and stuff like that, and, disrespect, respect, what do you say, how do the people say it, and honoring your parents, honoring your elders, honoring your, but you should honor your children, too, because I was brought up, it's in our book, If I Knew Then What I Know Now, you could find more information about that on Time to Play as well, but if you tell your kids, like I was taught, children are seen and not heard. And if you tell your kids that they're not important, you're not honoring them. It's a shadow that people
carry that on to their children, which is revolting.
With no doubt. Well, it's all there. So I want to move along a little bit because we're 12 minutes to the end.
Wow.
So, yeah, we just talk a lot. One of the things that I wanted to talk about, and kind of just go back to, honoring somebody at their wake or honoring somebody who's deceased. And I had dinner with a friend last night, and she said, because we were talking about this discussion that we were having this day now, and she said, sometimes people go to a wake or go to a service or go to something because they need to get rid of guilt. maybe they didn't honor somebody, or maybe that person wasn't all fantastic to them their whole life. Maybe it was a mean father or a mean mother or a mean uncle, disrespected them, and but these people still show up to these wakes. And you'll go to a wake, and this happened to us recently. I thought there was like no family for this guy, and there were like a freaking whole room of people in there. And I'm sitting there like thinking, like, where were these people while this person was alive? And aren't we supposed to respect each other? Aren't we supposed to support each other and our families? So how many times do we call our loved ones? Do we keep in touch with them? Trust me, life is so busy. I totally actually wanted to throw out something on Facebook today, something like, I need to make a police report. Where's my month of January? I mean, like, no joke. Somebody stole the whole month. It's crazy.
It flew. It flew.
Oh, my gosh, right? It'll be Christmas again before we know it, and it scares me to death. Like, oh, my gosh, the days
don't
just
go that far. I know.
Seriously.
But I got yelled at work because we were putting up, in the middle of January, we were putting up Valentine's Day things.
Right.
And I said to people, listen, it's only a couple of weeks, and now I finished my displays. They're beautiful. And not to take too much time, but I was reminding people to care for each other. That's what the Valentine's Day thing was all about.
And it really is. And maybe that's a great thing, because that's coming up in 2 weeks. You know what? Who do you not talk to? Maybe that's a goal. Maybe that's something that you can just make a mental note, quick note. Give them a call. Send them an email.
Yeah.
Send them a text. Just say, hey, I've been thinking about you. That's it. Sometimes that's so heartwarming. It makes somebody feel good. So I want to move into something else that I wanted to cover. And I know that, Michael, you're going through this a little bit now, but I had a story yesterday. This guy, Danny, that we've known and grew up with, his mom has dementia, very, very sick, and she still lives at home with the dad, his dad, her husband. You got it, right? And
I figured it out.
Yeah, okay, cool. So, she's got to be, at least in her 80s, she had 9 children. No joke, 8 children, 9 children, like a ton of children. Oh, my gosh, so many kids. And she was the primary caregiver. She did all the laundry, she did all the cooking, she did everything, and she's got the dementia now. And Danny said that, because Jim had said, I haven't seen your father around. And Danny said he never leaves her side. He is there 24 hours a day. He stepped up. He's taking care of the wash and the cooking and everything that she should have a nurse taking care of her. But he is there 24 hours a day. And that is honor. I again, working in skilled nursing, I recognize that people I've seen have a better quality of life when they come to a skilled facility, and I'll tell you why. Because if they're alone and they don't have a partner like that and a support like that, if they're home alone 24 hours a day, except for an aide that comes and sits and watches Oprah with them, when you go to a skilled nursing facility or an assisted living, there's a reason to wake up in the morning. You go to, bingo, you get your hair done, they make you lunch, they do stuff. You physically get dressed, and you're moving around all day long.
You're part of a community still. You're part of...
Exactly.
You're an active part of society. You're not living in a darkened room somewhere with a stuffed schnauzer. And I agree.
And socially isolated. Absolutely.
Isolation is the worst thing. Nobody should be a mushroom or treated like one.
But the point, no, I appreciate that. But the point of that story and the point of that discussion was this is an honor. And do we, in our book, there's a chapter, Don't Let an Illness Stop You from Living, and J.R. Castiglione, she's a nurse that I met, 10 years ago, and she actually contributed to that chapter, and she talked about her experience. She still has cancer. She's still fighting cancer since 2003, And so she talked about that in this book, but also about abandonment and people that had, not supported her. Now, I've fought with this most of my life, where if a person has a cancer or if a person has a disease process, do they want me part of it? Do they want me to ask questions? Or should I let them volunteer information to me, which is more of how I've lived with it. How do you support a person? How do you honor that person? How do you know that they are, let them know that you're there for them? And you know what I'm saying? And like I said, Michael is experiencing this now. And you know what? He could abandon. Sometimes you have sick parents. You have sick spouses.
Well, my partner is sick, and he's got all kinds of things, complications from being more sick. And what am I going to do? Tell him to get the hell out? Go away? I'm going to ignore you? Or do I support? Do I take care? Do I make sure that I ask every day, how are you? And, make him laugh and make him feel comfortable and be the friend, lover, what have you, that I am. I have a loving heart. I have a loving heart, and I'm not going to allow someone to feel abandoned ever.
And it's such a stressful time, when somebody is sick and a loved one is sick. One of the statistics, and Heidi Bernstein-Kranz is on our site, and she, on timetoplay.com, and she actually had experienced having a disabled child, and she gave me the statistic, and we talked about this a number of times, which is really disturbing to me, that 90% of marriages where a disabled child is born into divorce. And again, that's really a hard thing. I mean, certainly, thank God, I've never been in that situation where I would have to live in a situation where there is such a strain, whether it's autism or, Down syndrome or, worse, maybe, paralysis.
But aren't we all of us, no matter what our situation is, aren't all of us anyway a challenge to each other? Aren't we all challenges?
I think so.
One way or the other, we're all a challenge. So it may not be an ailment. It can be a personality trait. Could you get up on the wrong side of the bed? We're all a challenge. So we've all got to face each other.
That's clever.
We've all got to face it one way or the other anyway. So we've all got to go through each other. Somebody made a joke, and I love it. It's a quickie. All the world's a stage, and we're all going through it. And I like it. It's true.
I like it too.
No matter who you're with, we're all a challenge. Because if the world was perfect, I wouldn't have a job. Neither would you.
That's most true.
And also, we've got to just be there
for each other. And that's the goal of Time to Play, is people helping people. And if you go on timetoplay.com, you'll see that I kind of really started thinking about what is the real goal of what we're trying to do, and it's to get people to shift into the Time to Play frame of mind. It's a mindset. It's taking on ourselves the power to make our life better. It's taking on ourselves to learn what we need to know so we can move forward and get out of that rut, because life is precious and the days go so fast. So isn't it time to embrace the Time to Play frame of mind and mindset? And, we welcome your questions, thoughts, comments, what you need to know so we can serve you. And that's what we're there to do. And so go on timetoplay.com and, send us some feedback, sign up for our updates, and have a good week. How's that?
I think that's phenomenal. Or I should say extraordinary, right?
Oh, my gosh. So have a great week, and thank you, as always, Michael, for being amazing.
Oh, my pleasure, my dear friend. And thank you, everybody, for listening. We do want your comments. We do want your feedback. Chime in when you want. We're always here for you.
Thanks so much. Have a great week.
Thank you.